All right, you can see my screen? Okay. All right, so I guess before getting into talking about my project, I'll talk a little bit about how FSLI has helped for me. And I'll start off with something practical. So Claudia's Fast Track Leadership Library. Um, when I got the link from Ruben, I was like, I'll probably never use this. I've actually used it a lot, and I've used it for things like when we're interviewing, doing the behavioral event interview approach and all of that. So it's what I really liked about it is you can just jump in, short little pieces on different topics, and get a quick refresher on something, and that's just been really helpful from a practical side of things. Uh, when I was thinking about how FSLI has helped, one of the things is it's the impact on mindset, and my mindset has been quite introspective for the past since the beginning of FSLI, and that's really kind of you do all this self-assessment, you get all this input from other people, you're listening to all these great leaders, you're talking to other people about this. So if I showed you my reading list for the past year and a bit, I mean, a lot of it is like, Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning kind of thing, who am I, what am I doing? And then, a lot of leadership stuff that I never really thought of myself as somebody who wanted to be a leader. So I spent a lot of the last year kind of reading about that stuff. And I kind of view myself at the moment as, in the 100-meter dash, when everybody is, coming up out of the blocks, and you've got like 30, 40, 50 yards where you're kind of coming into that upright position. And then, the last 20, 30 yards, you've got your head up. I'm at that stage where I'm starting to lift my head. And that's where I'm at in my leadership journey, I feel, at the moment. It's kind of a lot of introspection, but kind of starting to lift my head and getting sick of reading books about what's going on inside my head. So, yeah, I found President Drake's words to be very impactful. His thoughts on values and leadership were something that I've thought a lot about over the last while, and I don't really have. It's something I want to do more of in my department. I've talked about it, but I haven't got us to the point where we're actually able to coalesce around some values that we can use to guide us. But I think that's going to be really important, and it's something I've given a lot of thought to. Vincent Cavello, I mean, so this his talk on risk communication was just really interesting to me, I feel that I'm not always precise with my words, and just thinking about, just thinking about what he had to say about how to communicate precisely and persuasively. That's another thing that stuck with me. I put this up because Shabu taught me a valuable lesson. When we did the negotiation exercise, and I gave Shabu the farm. I mean, I was the one that gave everything away for nothing or whatever it was. I was, and it really got me thinking about my personality type and negotiation and how to get the best out of my personality type in negotiation and so I don't know if you've read the book by Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference, but that was a good book that kind of led on from that, and really just thinking about how to get what you need and want from a negotiation, and so yeah, that was another thing. These are kind of random things that kind of have stuck with me from FSLI, and of course, just talking to people and coaching from Claudia has been really, really helpful. So now, just to jump on to what this project is all about, and kind of to begin with, these are the units in the College of Agriculture, Food Systems, Natural Resources at NDSU, and I put my department, Microbiological Sciences, out to the side, not because we're special, although maybe we're special in the way that you don't want to be special, but we're so. I've been in this department for 18 years, and I would say I became interim department head in 2016, and now department head. But I would say up until 2012, 2013, I would say the first 10 years in the department, we could have been in the College of Science and Math, the College of Engineering. It didn't register with me at all. We were not part of agriculture. We did our own thing. Our faculty were successful, got grants, we were good at teaching, all of these things, but we really never engaged in agriculture. And of course, microbiological sciences, not every College of Agriculture has a microbiological sciences department. They're often integrated in other departments. So when I took over as interim, when I stepped in as interim department head in 2016, we had a discussion where we kind of sat down and said, look, we can't go on like this. We need to think about who we are and how we're going to contribute to agriculture. And we settled on, look, the future is in looking at microbial communities and their interaction with plants and animals. I mean, that's, that inter kingdom interaction is going to be really important. And we think that microbiology's got a big part to play in agriculture in the future. So that was kind of the beginning of talking about this agrobiome initiative. And so the agrobiome initiative was really, it's really looking at microbiomes in agriculture. And so we started, talking to the dean of the at the time of the college and the VP for ag about this, and he was supportive and he thought this was great. And so over a few years we built this up and eventually got legislative support in 2019 to hire some faculty and some research specialists and kind of develop this agrobiome initiative. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. So really, the agrobiome initiative, it's about harnessing the microbiome to enhance production. So as I said in the past, we haven't really connected with agriculture. If we did anything, like we had a food safety program in the department, but food safety is not something that producers get all excited about a lot. They're kind of what's it going to do for my bottom line? How is it going to increase productivity? And we really never had a program in the department that really contributed, that got people excited, got stakeholders excited. We didn't have a group in the state that were like, hey, microbiological sciences, they need more resources. They're fantastic. We really didn't have that. So with the agrobiome initiative, the idea is that we're looking at the role of microbes and microbial communities in crop production, in livestock production, everything from nutrient use efficiency in plants and animals, protection against disease, drought resistance and tolerance, all those kinds of things. And the other thing about the agrobiome initiative is that it's interdisciplinary. So if you go back to here, we're out on our own over at the side. We're not really connected with the other units in agriculture. And so our idea with the agrobiome initiative was to connect with other units in agriculture and building and developing this. So I started off with this, and my idea was, we need to build a center of excellence. This is going to be a center of excellence. And I thought, well, if we could get, there's a couple of people who would be friends of the department that have deep pockets, and I talked to one of these people, and he seemed excited, but but really wasn't putting his hand in his pocket yet. And I talked to somebody who was giving me advice and a mentor on this, and he said, you know, it's too early to be, you know, you need to build this up first and develop this more before doing that. So I was kind of naive in the beginning. So then I focused on how do we, you know, build a program and you know, kind of make it visible and build the connections, the collaborations, the interdisciplinary connections. So this is kind of what we've been doing. So we got support to hire 2 faculty and a couple of research specialists to help them, but we redirected another faculty position. So we've actually hired 3 faculty, you know, plants, soil, livestock, microbiome. Then I also had a faculty member in the department that is, his research was on obesity and the role of the gut microbiome in obesity. And I just asked him to flip that on its head and look at, instead of obesity, look at feed efficiency in livestock. And so brought him into the fold on doing some of the agrobiome research. So we have really 2 people focused on the livestock microbiome and 2 people focused on the plant, the crop microbiome, you know, one more on the soils and one more kind of connected to the plant. We hired a couple of research specialists to support those faculty as well. We're hiring a bioinformatician currently. And then, you know, we've invested about 500,000 or so in equipment. So this is beyond their kind of startup packages. So one of the things that's happened over the last year is I was asked to set up a lab to do wastewater testing for COVID. And I said, yeah, great, I'll do that. But, you know, I want to do this on a fee for service basis. So you pay me and that's allowed me to take in some money and use it for other things. So that's one of the ways that, you know, we've been supporting, you know, getting equipment, supporting graduate assistantships to build our graduate program as well. Stephen, when you talked about your graduate program, it's our department our graduate program took a bit of a hit over a few years when we lost some faculty and it had gone a bit low, and so I wanted to build that up again, and graduate students are a great way of encouraging collaboration between people. So so we've been kind of working on that. Also, COVID gave us an opportunity to, I'm sure a lot of you are doing this as well, but you know, you can do these seminar series where you can get really good speakers from all across the world to come and talk for nothing. And so our new faculty actually did a great job in organizing this seminar series, and it's really well attended from people across the state and well across the country. And it's been really good for kind of building the kind of awareness of agrobiome research. So if any of you are around tomorrow at 12:30 Central Time, there's an agrobiome seminar. But I just kind of wanted to finish with a couple of slides. But this is kind of where we're at now. You know, our department is now collaborating with all these departments, and also I didn't mention it earlier, but we have the Ag Experiment Station in North Dakota has 7 or 8 research extension centers across the state, and so our new faculty in this area, they're collaborating with all of these units, and so you've got, for example, one of our new faculty is looking at, you know, the role of rhizobia and nitrogen fixation in crops, and working on, you know, moving nitrogen fixation into, you know, cereal crops, for example, and looking at, you know, looking at things from the plant side where you would, you know, breed for certain features in the plant, and then looking at it from the microbiome side where you would, you know, be selecting specific microbes to work with the plant. So it's a really interdisciplinary type of thing. And that's been one of the real positives from this, is that it's actually being so interdisciplinary. Challenges, overcoming obstacles, collaboration, generally things like graduate students and who mentors, or who's their major mentor and what's their program. Next steps for us, go big or go home. And what I mean by that is, as a department, do we keep building in this area, or do we try and build a different initiative? And I'm inclined to think that we keep building in this area and developing this agrobiome initiative. And then the last piece is existential threat. And existential threat is basically, we're a small department, and we're selling this where we're collaborating with other departments. We could easily, somebody could easily say, hey, why do we need microbiological sciences? These people who are already collaborating with animal sciences, put them in animal sciences. So there is that sense of existential threat. And with that, I'll finish, because I'm looking at the time and it's already 2 o'clock. So, and I'll stop sharing.